Happy Monday, everybody.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
TGIM.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. We want to thank all the way from Richmond, Texas, Mr. Martin Melkonian.
Thank you guys for having me.
For taking time out of his Monday to be with us. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this closer to you.
Because we want our watchers to be able to hear you.
So, right on.
Yeah.
How was the flight in?
Comfortable. Yep.
You said you had PTSD when you walked into...
Yeah, it's different when you get off the plane. I mean, different atmosphere and everything, and different people.
When did you move to Texas?
May 6th of 17.
Little 8 years.
Yep.
Wow. And you grew up where, in Glendale?
Yep.
Born and raised?
Born in Monterey Park, but I mean that was the hospital. But pretty much born and raised in Glendale.
Well, you and I have known each other for quite some time.
Yep. Middle school, high school.
Yeah.
You guys are same age?
Yeah, 2004, Hoover alumni. I mean, Martin and I mean, the last time we connected was in 2016 when you were looking to buy something in LA.
Yeah, and then like Santa Clarita area.
Yeah, Santa Clarita. We were looking like Canyon Country, Valencia. And then we put everything on hold. And then a couple months later, he calls me. He goes, I bought something. And at the time, I was like, motherfucker, you bought something? You get a little offended. And then he goes, I'm like, where? And he goes, Richmond. I'm like, where the fuck is Richmond? And I go, where? He goes, Texas, bro. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, no, it was a decision we made to move to Houston. So I think we decided like, hey, we're moving to Texas. We didn't buy the house until I want to say 2019. We wanted to test the market over there, lifestyle over there for a couple of years to see if this is something that we want to stick to.
Yeah. And you took off.
Yeah, I moved to Houston. I decided to, I shut down I had a farmer's agency in Tahunga Sunland area and shut that down. We moved I always wanted to be part of State Farm. So moved to Houston, worked for an agent for about 3.5 years, wanted to learn the company and everything, and decided until I decide where I'm going to be selected to open up an agency. And it was Katy, Texas. And Richmond is, I described it earlier. Katy is the Glendale of Houston. Richmond is like the Burbank. And so that's where we decided to buy. And yeah.
Why State Farm? You were with farmers in LA, but then you said in Texas, well, you really wanted to be a State Farm agent.
State Farm, in my opinion, personally, is one of the hardest companies to be an agent for. You go through a really rigorous process of being selected. It's not easy to be a State Farm agent. You have to go through interviews. You have to go through a testing, like a personality testing. If you fail it, you have to wait, I think, a year or so to reapply. You have to interview with higher up corporate people. Then I think from what I remember, I could be wrong, was every site that you're applying for requires a minimum of 100 applicants. And out of the 100, 5 get selected for an interview. Out of that 5, 1 person gets selected. Then you have to go through an internship process with the company itself. And so now you're a corporate employee for about 4.5 months. Then you have your launch. So it was So
it's fair to say not many liberal brokers of State Farm, because I don't know how they would pass the personality test.
There is. There is. That's the thing I love about State Farm. They don't look at, they don't look at political views. They look at the person. And again, my opinion, State Farm is the company that really helps people. Mind you, a lot of people think otherwise of what recent happened, but experiencing the company, they do. I genuinely enjoy helping people out and protecting them and their assets and their family and everything at the worst time possible.
In Texas, that sounds realistic. In California,
actually, California it's everywhere. You have to hold that value. My mentor, Alan Sarafian, he's, I think, number 1 or number 2 agent in the whole country. He's President's Club, year in, year out. He has 3 offices in Studio City, Valley Village area, doing a wonderful job. And he's the epitome of what a State Farm agent is. I learn a lot from him. because I probably ask him so many questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to be a successful State Farm agent, you have to believe in the philosophy, believe in the products, and really genuinely help people out.
So was there a reason you left LA besides possibly foreseeing what was going on here? Because the big scare for a lot of the Armenian community is leaving the culture that's here and starting from scratch again.
I don't believe that whatsoever. You guys did the podcast with Robert Patrick.
Patrick Bet David.
Oh,
Patrick
yeah,
Bet
yeah.
David. Yeah, so I'm sorry. He said the most perfect thing. He goes, "Our parents left Iran, Armenia, wherever it was, and they come to America not knowing the language, but they made it work. What's the difference between going from state to state? Leaving the culture, I don't believe that. There's a humongous, not a humongous, but there's a very good Armenian presence in Texas, already established from the 70s and 80s.
See, for me, it's not so much. I mean, the culture, yeah, we can still establish it if it's not there. It'll take some time, but essentially, if you have family, wife, kids, ideally you want to move with maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 families. But ultimately, my concern always has been, okay, let's say you move to Texas or you move to Florida because you're fed up with California politics, right? What happens when who's going to be the governor after DeSantis or after, what's his name, the Texas governor, Abbott, right? Abbott, yeah. What happens when these guys move on and somebody else replaces them and you have different policies in place? Because that's the reason why a lot of people are escaping California. It's not that Texas or Florida has better weather. It's because state taxes, right? Policies, regulations, much easier to run a business. Plus, I think if you take your know-how from LA to just about any other state except maybe New York, you're probably 10, 15 years ahead of the game because LA is so cutthroat that if you can survive in LA, I think you can survive anywhere in the country.
Yeah, you can. But I don't look at who's going to be the president, who's going to be the governor or anything. It's just how you make life work. You guys have done a phenomenal job over here making your lives work. A lot of our peers and everything make their lives work out here. It's my reasoning for moving was it's just the way my lifestyle is more comfortable in Texas. I like to do certain things. I like to have. I don't have that support that a lot of Armenians do. Growing up, everything have in my life, I worked for by myself. It was never given a hand me down. Not saying you guys are one of those, but a lot of people I know, their parents really helped them. My mom was a single mom, and she worked 2 jobs to keep putting food on the table. That's not the normal narrative that you see in an Armenian family, right? I grew up differently. I do have an older sister. My sister is a wonderful woman.
She's here in Texas.
No, she's here. Yeah. She is. When I think of women empowerment, I think about my sister. She started off as a, like an admin clerk for Kaiser Permanente, and now she's like an executive of the whole company, right? So it's a person's willpower. LA was becoming too much for me, like crowded wise. I loved LA growing up. I repped LA throughout my lifetime, but it was sad to say politics got in the way of it. And in Texas, yeah, you still have Democrats. I mean, all the major inner cities are all Democrat. Houston, Dallas, not so much Fort Worth, Austin, El Paso. Yeah, inner cities are Democratic. Outside is more conservative.
Yeah,
but everybody has a freedom over there. No one really tanks on you for your beliefs.
I want to ask you this: as far as in Texas is concerned, with this whole ICE raid that's going on throughout the country, majority of the raids that we're seeing are taking place in Democratic cities. We're seeing them in LA. We're seeing them in up north in Seattle. We're seeing them in New York, Minnesota, another Democratic area as well. Anything happening in Austin? Anything happening in San Antonio, Dallas? to the extent of what's happening in LA, because you've seen what's going on in LA. Right?
Yeah, of course. Everybody has. I think it is happening. I mean, Texas is at the border of Mexico, so you do have the Hispanics are the majority working force.
But what's the culture like there compared? Because look, you've lived in LA throughout your teens and your young adult life, right?
I was born in LA and I moved in when I was 32.
So
or whatever.
yeah, so your young adult life, you've lived there, and then now you're in Texas and you've lived there since 2017, as you said, right? So you've experienced both ends. I mean, what is the biggest difference you're seeing right now in Texas compared to LA?
Texas is, they support the freedom of speech, freedom of protest and stuff like that. They don't allow it to get out of hand because of the right to bear arms over there. I think, honestly, that's the main reason.
Open carry.
Yes. I think that's the main reason. People protest over there. That's your right to if you want to protest, that's your freedom of speech.
How was that for you when you first moved there and you noticed people carrying?
Shocking. I'll never forget. I was driving one day and I saw a guy riding a motorcycle and he had a big 45 on his hip, and I was like, what's going on? Like one time I got pulled over in Sun Valley, and the rules over here, the gun is supposed to be in the case, rounds are supposed to be in the glove box, and and they detained me for like 45 minutes until the sergeant came and signed off on it. Over there, I have my license to carry.
So hold on, when you got pulled over, where was your gun? It was on you, loaded?
No. It was in a case, locked in my trunk. The rounds were in my glove box, and the cop, it was LAPD, had to call a sergeant to get it signed off. And I was sitting on the sidewalk.
Oh, so they detained you, took you out of the car, everything. Yeah. But over there, it's free for all.
No, once they read your license plate, and because your license to carry is attached to your driver's license.
So you still need a license to carry?
No, license. No, you don't need it anymore. They changed the open carry thing like a couple years ago. But I carry the license to carry because I ride a motorcycle. I do a lot of cross country trips, and I go to states where a license to carry is needed. So that's my license to carry in Texas carries over to a lot of the other states.
Oh, that's fascinating. I didn't know that. I thought like once you cross into borders, you can't carry anymore. You got to abide by their laws.
Depending on what state it is.
So California, for example?
Oh, God, no.
Arizona?
Arizona, yes. I believe so.
Arizona is an open carry too, no?
I don't know. Maybe
I think it is, yeah.
Levy would know that.
Because I know when last year when I did my trip into California, I packed my gun in my saddlebag, put it in the case and everything before I entered across state lines.
How does ammo work when it comes to like purchasing ammo? Can you buy ammo in Texas and bring it over to the States or no?
No.
I have no idea. I know over here you have to sign off and stuff like that.
Bro,
in Texas, you just go to the store and go to the counter and buy it and walk away.
If you go buy ammo today in California, you buy one bullet, single bullet. You go through the same background check as if you're buying an AR-15.
Over there, it's like going over and just buying a freaking...
Oh, it takes 10 minutes. If you don't have anything on your record, like any felonies or any psych records history.
No, I mean, ammo you could buy here in a few minutes too, but they do a full-on background check.
Oh, yeah. No, not over there. But if you're buying a gun over there, if you don't have like a psych record, a history of psych and felonies, you walk out in 10 minutes.
Oh, that's it. It's a very simple process, basically.
Yeah.
No, here, I mean, there's a whole live scan thing that you have to go through, background check, all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing over there. You fill out the application, they enter it into the system. As long as nothing comes up, you're good to go.
But here you can't pick up the gun right away. You have to
wait 2 weeks.
Yeah. Same thing in Texas?
No, you walk out right then and there.
You know what's interesting is, I don't know, Joe, maybe you know, but I remember back in the days, rifles weren't like that. You could go to Big Five or any store that carried rifles. That's Santa Claus.
It's the beauty of live shows, baby.
Live shows. And in order to, you can pretty much pick it up the same day. But I don't think you can do that anymore.
No, times have changed.
Yeah. Who do we have?
Anyway,
it's 8:15, huh? We still have people ringing the door. Maybe it's Amazon. I ordered a AR-15. I think
but to purchase bullets in California, it's just recently where that's now a thing where they ask for ID and everything else. Before it wasn't really.
Well,
There
that was
no
a thing
checks.
when I lived here. I remember at Big Five, I had to sign off on a book and fingerprint.
For a gun, not
No, for buying rounds.
For banging rounds, really?
That was in like 2015, 16. I remember that.
Well, yeah, 2015, 16. Okay, I'm talking way earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day, you could still smoke in airplanes too.
Smoking in airplane. I was 12 when I flew back to Armenia, and I remember we flew on Aeroflot, and probably half of the passengers were smoking, and there was a big group of us between the ages of 10 and 16 traveling, like about 50, 60 of us. And imagine the whole freaking airplane, you just had just smoke on the ceiling of the airplane, and you couldn't breathe through the whole, what was it, like a 16-hour flight or something?
When did they stop doing smoking on planes?
I don't know. If I had to guess, it would have been probably after 9/11, because I remember I flew to Vegas with my dad when I was like 11, 12, and he was smoking on the plane.
TSA.
But funny enough, they still have the ashtrays, and it still says no smoking.
Yeah, on the overhead thing.
Yeah, it's like plus in the lavatories, they still have the no smoking, even though there's an ashtray there.
Yeah.
Just remove the goddamn ashtray. I mean, why is it still there?
Well, with going back to the whole Texas, bro, I swear to God, man.
Who was that?
I don't know, some guy. Hold on, bro. Beauty of live shows, baby. I'm telling you.
You see, guys, for those of you that don't think we're live, doesn't get any more live than this.
I love it. This is why I hate live shows, by the way, guys.
This is actually why I love live shows.
I'm sorry, who's this?
I have a package to drop off. It's for you.
It's for who?
For you, my brother. You're gonna love it.
Who is it?
It's a team member. You're gonna love it. Please. I'm dropping off. I'll leave it in the front. Can you get it, please?
Yeah, just leave it in the front. I'll come pick it up. We're live right now, bro.
I guess people
I know,
want.
yeah, Canadians. It's in front of the door right here. Thank you, my brother.
All
Thank
right,
you.
all right.
Well,
Now I'm curious.
We have a package.
Now I'm curious.
We have a package. So
maybe it's from Netanyahu. Don't open it.
I'm gonna go grab it before.
Well, hold on. Before you grab anything, let's get the bomb sniffing dogs real quick.
You guys want to converse about something before I talk about?
Tell us what we should talk about, Chief.
Well, let's do this. I'll come back down. We're gonna play some videos because recently you saw what was going on in LA, right? With all the quote unquote protests. Kind of gave us a little bit of a PTSD experience with what was going on with the George Floyd's riots. I mean, it wasn't to that extent, but kind of felt nostalgic, didn't it, boys? A little bit nostalgic.
Well, you know, the other day, a few of us, we took our kids to the carnival in Glendale. So we were walking on Central.
Yeah.
And in front of Hilton, you should have seen masks, even people that were driving by and supporting them, all in masks. They're just banging on these, I don't know, it's like pans and pots and pans.
Yeah, they were trying to keep the people. They thought what happened was this. A bunch of Democrats were in front of the Hilton Hotel thinking that ICE was staying at the hotel, which they weren't.
Didn't the city of Glendale post something on their social media?
Okay, it wasn't true. ICE was not staying at that hotel, but a bunch of, I don't even want to say Democrats at this point, bro, because it wasn't. It was just a bunch of people that went out there and began to parade in front of the Hilton Hotel, creating noise, banging on pots, as Arman said, whistles, asking people to honk as they were driving
siren
by.
Sounds, yeah.
And what happens is, it's not only ICE that's staying at that hotel, quote unquote. It's not. There's a bunch of people that are there on business. There's a bunch of people that are visiting family. There's a bunch of people that are just there to stay at the Hilton because they're visiting family. And you're there until, I'm not kidding you, bro, 2 a.m.
Wow.
Parading, causing chaos. Why? Because they're like, oh, we're boycotting the Hilton. Well, you're not only boycotting the Hilton, you're harming the city now. Because when the Hilton has residents stay there, the taxes go towards the city. And if the Hilton doesn't make money and they can't collect taxes, what's going to happen is it's going to affect the freaking city, bro. So these people don't understand that that's not the way you conduct protests? Because number one, get your facts straight, find out if ICE is actually there before you go out there and you disturb the residents that are not only living in the hotel and around the area, but the traffic that's going in and out. But
Well, there was an article recently claiming that one of the Walton's daughters is the one who's been funding these protests. She's been hiring these Antifa-like people.
Waltons or Hiltons?
Walton, the owners of Walmart.
Oh,
Because even recently, somebody got footage of this individual who came by in a van, not in the Glendale location, but some other location, where he dropped off a bunch of these specific types of gear, like helmets and Teflon and different things for these protesters to use. And I'm assuming the gear is very similar to the ones that we kind of experienced during the GUSD protests, because when we attended the protest, when was it, about 2 years ago now? A lot of the agitators were Antifa, and they had been dropped off in vans, and they all had helmets. They all had like Kevlar vests and everything. Those were the guys basically that were there supposedly fighting for LGBTQ whatever rights, whereas they don't even live in the city. They're not parents themselves, but these were the guys that we were dealing with when during these protests. And it's the same type of monkey business going on with these protests.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks with, I'm a very big believer of the freedom of protest, freedom of speech, whatever it is. I serve the military to protect all this, right? And I think they're using that. And at the end of the day, I don't believe in the violence. I don't believe in looting or whatever you want to call it.
What do we have, Santa Claus?
Don't open it live on the air, please.
I don't even know what it is.
So don't open it live on the air. I have no idea what that is, and I'm not opening it up. And you had to bring it in the room with you. Like, that's the smartest thing, especially what's happening now. Good job. Bring it in the room with you.
What do you think? What do you?
I don't know, man. Random ding dong box. People.
You want me to take it outside?
Man, I don't know what that could be. I don't know.
Joe's a little paranoid.
Yeah, a little. Doing a live show, random ding dong, and then all of a sudden you have.
But what do you think of? Because recently Trump was talking about signing an executive order to not deport the farm workers and the construction workers and all that. What do you think of that?
I 100% agree with that. Realistically speaking, Hispanics are the working force of this country. I don't care what anybody says. If you hire a contractor to do work on your house, the workers are going to be Hispanic.
Yeah.
I believe the due process, them raiding Home Depot and stuff like that was a waste of time. Why are you going to do that? Yeah, there is a process of coming into this country. I do believe the legal process, because my parents went through that during the Iranian Revolution, right? They had to seek asylum. They got it. I mean, a lot of our parents.
All of us, yeah.
Yeah, they did. Coming across the borders, go after the ones that are the criminals, right? The ones that sending people from the terrorists coming through the borders and stuff go after them. Use your intelligence, the U.S. intelligence, to go after those people. If you're going to capture people that have a legal status, my opinion is give them time, give them 5 years to make it right. Go through the immigration courts and apply. I believe the administration and any administration going forward is create a plan, a process of giving these people a chance, because they are coming to this country for a better life, because their lives over there weren't great, right? Just how all of our families came here.
Yeah, I don't think I think he should have thought of that. And look, I always say this to folks who criticize, because I like to think, okay, somebody who's, this is pre his presidency. I've read Donald Trump's books and I followed him even before Apprentice, where most people really learned about him, through his show Apprentice, because I always just loved to read about different people who were successful in different industries, and he was one of them. But to look at a man who's, I think I would consider him one of the most accomplished men in history, where he's made it in three of the toughest industries in the world. One is real estate in Manhattan, of all places, right? Second is Hollywood, media. And third is politics. The guy was elected as president twice, and some would say 3 times. I mean, how many people have accomplished? Reagan did it in Hollywood, and Reagan did it in politics. He never did it in real estate, or was never successful in business per se. And most presidents this guy's a trifecta. So why is it that somebody who's so successful and has done so many deals, do you think he doesn't have the proper advisors, or how does he not think of, okay, if I do this and if I raid innocent families, whether they're Hispanic, Armenian, Asian, wherever they're from, that it's going to backfire. It's not going to look good. And then now, a week or two later, I'm going to sign an executive order to take a step back and say, okay, we're going to stop deporting the good people. We're only going to focus on the bad people. Why couldn't he think of that from the get-go?
My personal opinion is he does things out of spite. This run he's doing, I think he's doing it out of vengeance of what he went through the past 4 years. It's really sad of what we're seeing nowadays. But I think he got shot at. They put him through the legal process, criminalized and stuff like that. I think right now he's doing it out of vengeance, of saying, hey, you guys put me through this. I'm going to act out of passion instead of what's right and what's wrong.
I mean, he has nothing to lose because he doesn't have another term.
No.
But still, it's going to affect his legacy, I think, because ultimately the Democrats can use this to their advantage, which I think is one of the reasons why they're over dramatizing everything. And usually, I mean, one of our good friends has an office in downtown LA. He's like, it's all very well maintained by LAPD. They have a perimeter. There's no more than 200 people protesting all of downtown LA. But if you watch the news, you think there's 4 million people out there, which there isn't. So, and I think the Democrats, Newsom, what's her name, Bass, they're using this to their advantage to say, see, guys, this is what's going to happen if you allow a Republican to run this state or this county. You guys are going to be kicked out of here. They're going to embarrass you. They're going to tear your families apart. But nobody's looking at Obama deported more than 3 million, right? He's the number one deporter from all the presidents. But back then we didn't have, we had Instagram. We didn't have TikTok.
No, we didn't. We did not have Instagram. 2008, we did not have Instagram. We had Facebook. We had MySpace.
MySpace.
We didn't have Instagram in 2008?
No.
But set aside the social media. I think it's the person.
Sorry, hold on. But he left office in 2016.
16.
We had Instagram.
Correct. But look at when a majority of his deportation took place. It was actually his first term. His first term, he had a massive amount of deportation take place. And then obviously his second term, he had the deportation as well. But the whole cages and all that stuff, when they talk where Trump talks about, who built the cages, Joe? Obama built those cages. He was the czar of deportation. It's just unfortunate that at the time, media was the actual media. It was the news outlets, and they had a beautiful narrative of how they were going to present all this. And when Obama spoke the same terms that Trump did, as far as we're going to deport illegal immigrants, you need to learn to speak English. Remember, that was one of his speeches as well. All this racist narrative that they're slapping on Trump was said by Obama as well. But the media did a phenomenal job covering it up.
But you have to remember, Obama was media's cover boy. He couldn't do wrong.
He was an amazing speaker.
No, not only that. How many times was Michelle Obama on the cover of Vogue and every other...
Michael Obama.
How many times...
You actually believe that?
Yes.
I don't,
to some extent.
because that's it's a wonderful marketing agenda.
Have you ever seen her pregnant? A picture of her pregnant?
Have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
Who cares? That's a good one, actually. But again, going back to 2008, it was a different time. That the Iraq-Afghanistan war was still fresh. He took over a presidency from Bush that we were still focusing on terrorism. So now the war has died. Now we're going into another war.
Well, not only was he focusing on terrorism, but we went through in essence, a depression. We went through a very massive recession in 2008 when the real estate market took a shit, the financial market took a shit. Everything was in shambles at that point. So we were in recovery mode. But again, we were still in the Middle East. In fact, we went into Libya as well, if I'm not mistaken. And
thanks to Mr. Is it Milowski you like to refer to him as Joe?
It's not Netanyahu, that's for sure. What was his last name?
Melkowski.
Melkowski.
Yeah.
That's his real last name, by the way. Let's do this now. We want to play some segments of what was going on in LA. One of the clips we want to play is this is a shout out to our actual South American or Mexican brothers who were out there protecting the flag. So, Joe, can we play that one?
Mm-hmm. This one?
No, it wasn't this one. It wasn't this one. There was another one where they were actually fighting. This was in Seattle, by the way. Look at this shit, bro.
Were they fighting the cops?
Yeah, literally. So, scroll down really quickly, Joe.
The cops' ICE protest?
No. I want to play the one where
the one that you uploaded here.
Yeah, it's probably there. So I want you guys to watch this one. Do you see it, Joe?
Nope.
It might be that. It might be that one. Yeah.
Keep in mind, we're protesting, but the Americans are the one doing this shit. You feel me? We're just chilling. Keep that in mind. That sends a message, bro. America doesn't even like America. The Mexicans like America.
Burning that flag. I don't care. I'm Mexican. My family's an immigrant. You're not burning that flag. You're not burning that flag. You're not burning that flag. You're not burning that fucking flag. We don't condone burning the American flag at all. And we're fucking Mexican, dog. We don't condone burning the flag at all. At all. Nobody's burning no flag.
So you have Mexican Americans protecting the American flag. See, that's how you protest, where you respect the country you're in and you respect the flag that is protecting what you're able to do in this country. I dare any of those motherfuckers who are actually out there burning the flag, causing havoc, to go try to do it in a foreign country. Go try to do that in the Middle East. Go try to do that in Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico. You think you can burn the Mexican flag?
I
don't
dare
think
you
so.
guys to do that in Mexico.
You'll get picked up in a yellow TRX before you can light up.
Yes, yes. That's the look. You need to respect what happened in this country, and again, hats off to you as well, veteran sitting right here next to us who served for this country. Not everybody could do what he has done, and a lot of the veterans who have sat in that chair, on that couch, have done for this country. For you to be able to go out there and burn the fucking city down, because you would not be able to do that in any other country. Go try to do that shit in Russia, bro. Could you imagine what they would do to you?
But see, again, I think those people burning anything down, whether it's the flags, whether it's those boxes, whatever they're burning down, I don't think those guys actually have family that's been deported. Those are all the paid actors, the Antifas or whatever group they're called now. These are the people doing all that because they're causing havoc intentionally to show that, look, how distressed people are against Trump's policies. It has most of the Mexicans or Mexican Americans who have actually had families deported. I don't think they're the ones doing that, if any of them.
No, they're not. They're not.
I blame their parents. Their parents couldn't control them.
Bro, the person who was attempting to burn the American flag,
I blame his parents.
had a Palestinian flag on them. And again, when it comes to the whole Israel-Palestine thing, which we'll get into as well, and we'll talk about that as well, that's another topic in its own. But what we want is no war. We don't need to fight any wars for foreign countries. We don't need to be overseas. Stop fucking killing people, whether you're Israeli, whether you're Palestinian, whether you're Ukrainian, whether you're Russian, doesn't matter. Stop killing people because innocent people are dying. But
You can't stop that, though.
I understand that. But the person who was doing it had a Palestinian flag wrapped around themselves and was attempting to burn the American flag. So there was a different motive there. That individual was not there for Mexicans. They were there on a completely different motive. They were there to basically burn the American flag while wearing the Palestinian flag to send a message saying that, you know what, F America, fuck America, basically. That's what it was.
Divide and conquer.
Did you guys see that Craigslist ad that was eventually removed a couple weeks
I can't
ago?
believe they're still even Craigslist.
Well,
it only comes up during these riot times.
No, there was an ad. Look, this is what the ad read. Seeking extremely tough, brave man for new crew on building. Compensation $6,500 to $12,500 per week. We're forming a select team of the toughest dudes in the area. The unit will be activated only when the situation demands it, but you get paid every week no matter what. High pressure, high risk, no room for hesitation. We need individuals who do not break, panic, or fold under stress and are basically all around kick-ass dudes.
Bro, I don't even think those morons could afford $6,500.
Bro,
Have you
I'm
tried
telling you, the
have you tried
Walton,
calling them?
there is no number. It was you had to apply. But if assuming one of the Waltons, who's worth over $100 billion, is funding it, what's $6,500 or $12,000 a week for her? Assuming that's true,
Tax write-off.
right? They probably, I swear, they probably have some type of a nonprofit NGO, something that she'll write a $100 million check to. She'll get a write-off, and well, there you go. Thank you, chaos.
Look, there's bigger issues happening right now around the world than there are this whole immigration thing, because a lot of the people that are going out there and creating these false rumors saying that, oh, ICE is pulling over random people and checking ID, and if you don't have your ID, you're detained, and they take you and they'll deport you. Bro, like, really?
I mean, I saw something the other day, how an article came out, how they're saying the corporation or the owner of the Santa Fe swap meet turned their backs on its people, and they organized a raid with ICE.
Bro, here's a big misconception that a lot of people don't understand. ICE is a federal agency.
Yes.
ICE knows who they're going after. They're not going to go out there and pull random people over. They have a list. It's like Santa's list. You've been naughty or you've been nice. If you've been naughty, if you got a criminal record, know that ICE is coming after you. But if you've been nice and you've been paying your taxes, or if you've even gone through the immigration process where you've started your paperwork, bro, they're going to leave you alone. They're not going to come after you.
I really hope that's true.
It has to be true, because what's happening right now is the media is literally turning the country against itself.
Well, the media has always done this. I showed you a video with the Shah of Iran.
Yes.
He did an interview, and he blamed the media for false narratives. A lot of the rap songs you listen to, Tupac, I listen to Tupac all the time. He talks about how the media always splits the whites and the blacks. They've always been an issue.
Well,
sad to say.
Yeah, but
that's
speaking of that, right? Hip hop. What are a lot of hip hop rap songs? What's the theme? Right? It's against the cops. It's against society. It's against lawlessness. Right? Oh, I mean, it's
drugs, money.
It's all about. And what do you think that did to their
Their image,
their community.
Well, again, to play devil's advocate, Tupac, again, favorite rapper of all time, and he rapped from the heart. Yeah, he had songs of killing Biggie and his crew, whatever, but the ones that he's talking about, cops and stuff, again, back in the day, they were targeted. That's the truth. The police was created in this country, realistically, to control black people. If you read history, that's what the police was made for. One of the funniest things I get a kick out of all the time is when I see a person have two bumper stickers. We the people and the supporting the police. They don't go hand in hand with each other. Because if there's a civil riot, the first people that are going to come after you is the police, right? So they're going based off of history of what they've experienced in life. Do I blame them? No. It's anger, it's frustration.
But that was all, again, intentional, because we've had Freeway Rick Ross on the show a couple of times, right? He was one of the main guys, or the main guy, who brought cocaine to LA in the 80s. And that's when rap, hip-hop was started. 80s, 90s that was the biggest era. So guess what? Drug up a community, sell them your drugs, and then let them write songs about going against the police and, for lawlessness and against everything that you and I as law-abiding citizens abide by, do, right? And how is that going to ruin their community, you think?
Because of
children but the kids are going to grow up listening to these raps, so I want to be like them. Yeah, fuck the police, fuck this, fuck that. And plus throw in some drugs in there. Guess what? You're going to have 80% of the inmates be part of that community. Again,
it's playing devil's advocate, right? I mean, if we don't know what's right and wrong, we just know what we hear and what we read. And when you read about history, CIA dumped drugs into the communities, right? But also at the 80s and 90s, how many doctors, lawyers, they were all doing dope. Why weren't they reprimanded? But sad to say, the black community was. Because they're acting out of anger right now. I don't know if Arno, you have ever experienced it, or you guys ever experienced it. Growing up in Glendale, Armenians were targeted by the cops all the time. We would get pulled over and harassed all the time.
But didn't they have good reason for it?
Because we were Armenians driving nice cars?
Maybe Armenians driving a certain way, acting a certain way, acting a fool, thinking that, Glendale's our city. Look, there's justification why a police officer will pull you over and ask you certain questions. Going back to the whole black community thing, I want to bring this up because Dr. Dre, who's one of the most famous rappers, call him a producer. Dr. Dre is one of the most famous producers of all time. Came out with the one album a couple years ago, Compton, which was his third so-called album after Chronic 2. And if you go back and you listen to the opening statement that he made in that album, he talks about the city of Compton. And he says, the city of Compton, a flourishing city made for the black America, the black community, white picket fences. He mentions all of this. And it's lit with this really nice music. And then all of a sudden, the music dies down, like a beat hits in, and he starts talking about what happened. And the first thing he brings up is drugs, crime, gangs. I'm telling you, and Arman said it as well. Freeway Rick Ross said as well. That specific area, that Compton, Inglewood, that whole south side of LA, they put the black community there, purposely introduced drugs, introduced gangs to destroy the black community. And it was all done by the California and Los Angeles government on purpose.
I mean, when you watch movies from the 50s, 60s, 70s, right? Weren't black families always Sunday church?
They still are. A lot of them are still
father, mother, they had the nuclear family. Now, what percentage of the black family has a nuclear family?
I think when you concentrate, you're looking at bigger cities, Los Angeles and stuff like that, New York and stuff like that, I could see that narrative. But I think outside of them,
No, No, I'm looking at overall. If you look at percentage wise, as far as inmates, the number of inmates versus the number of population in the country, right? Blacks are 13% of the population, if I'm not mistaken. But prison system, they're over 70%. That's not a proper ratio. That's not just a big city ratio. That's an overall issue, nationwide, I think. Yes, of course, it's more dense in LA, Chicago, certain parts of the South and whatnot. Maybe even, I don't know about, maybe even New York or so, but nationally, if you look at it, that's just, the number just, it's too far off.
It's the removing the father figure from the home. It's the drug epidemic that took place as well. There's so many factors, and relying on the government, relying on welfare, relying on EBTs, all this shit. That's what's destroyed. And it's not only the Black community. It's the Armenian community. It's the Hispanic community. It's the Black community. Anybody who relies on the government, you are doomed. You will not grow. You will not succeed. And what will happen is you'll be stagnant for the rest of you. You will not create any sort of generational wealth for your family, because that's what the government wants. The government does not want you to succeed. They want to keep the money for themselves, and they want you to rely on them as much as possible so you could be a good boy and you could continue to vote for them over and over and over. Because God forbid you vote Republican, they'll cut your welfare, they'll cut your EBT, they'll cut your Social Security.
I don't think that's a true statistic.
Martin.
I really don't think so. I think that's a false narrative.
Why is it that majority of democratic cities are becoming more urbanized? Why are they building up instead of out?
It's because of the free. It's like the
free what?
It's the welfare and everything like that.
Oh, well, that's what I'm just saying.
But Armenians, isn't Armenians notorious for that too? When that's
what I'm saying. I'm saying everybody.
Influx of Armenians that came to America.
How many millionaires do you know that have grown and built a business relying on the government?
I mean, I'm sure there's a handful of them, but again, I understand what you're saying. But again, nowadays, everybody's going to rely on the government. Veterans, we rely on the government.
And how does the VA treat veterans?
Depending on what part of the country you live in.
See, it's always depending on. Let's speak on a realistic ratio. On average, how does the VA treat their veterans?
It's not the best, because the VA is a socialist program, and we feed into it.
Well, majority of the United States runs on socialistic features. Yes. See, anybody who says I'm a full-on capitalist. No, you're not. You're not a full-on capitalist, because you still rely on certain socialistic features which this country has, which I'm not against. I don't think any of us are against it. The fire department, the police department, the postal services, those are all socialistic features that we have. If you are a true capitalist and your house is burning, don't rely on the fire department. Hire your own private fire department to come and put the fire out, and then have them bill you.
But they're not going to.
Exactly.
It's like insurance. You don't have to buy a car liability insurance through an insurance carrier. You could self-insure. But why would you put up minimum $30,000 out of your pocket if you're involved in an accident? Why pay a smaller premium for 10 times more coverage? Again, people are not going to do it because they're way too comfortable, and all these benefits are provided. We pay into Social Security, we pay into Medicare, because when that day comes, we're hoping to use it one day.
Yeah.
By the way, let me correct myself. It's actually the Black population in prison systems is close to 38%. I was confusing it with the single parent is over 70%, where they grew up with a single parent, predominantly a single mom, not 70% Blacks in prison. Just to correct myself.
It's just sad when you go to downtown LA, you go to Skid Row, you go to certain areas, you see what's going on with the Black community and the drugs that are involved, the homelessness that's involved. I mean, we have that one clip that was during the protest, right? I mean, look at this clip, man.
Fuck Donald Trump! 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 Fuck Donald Trump!
I mean, so you basically have a bunch of people protesting in downtown LA saying fuck Donald Trump, while there's a cracked out guy sitting literally practically passed out on the sidewalk, and it's his fault. It's not Karen Bass's fault. It's not Gavin Newsom's fault. It's Donald Trump's fault that whatever is going on is going on. LA needs to fix themselves before they could begin to point fingers at.
But it's not only LA. It's I think it's a whole country cultural issue. I remember one day I was exiting the freeway, and to the left, I was with my friend, and to the left was a colored person, a white person, holding up a sign saying "Give me money," and to the right there was a lady selling mangoes. That's the problem we have in this country. So if you get rid of the Hispanics, because this country the people became so lazy that they're not willing to work. Trump made a comment a while ago saying, during a debate saying the Hispanics took away black jobs. What are black jobs? Hispanics didn't take anybody's job. It's the country became lazy.
Hispanics are the most hardworking people in all of America.
I've never seen a Hispanic homeless person.
I haven't either.
Never.
I've been here for almost 40 years. I've never seen one.
I've seen a Hispanic drug addict, but as far as homeless, a Hispanic person will do anything and everything they can to get work, get paid, pay their rent, provide for their family. And you know what it comes down to? It's a culture thing.
Yep.
These people have culture.
And pride.
Pride, yes,
pride.
and pride. They have morals, they have values, they have principles, and they have pride. Latinos will help other Latinos in any case, bro. Like, let me give you the best example. Go to a construction site and ask for their foreman. Latino guy, right? And then ask them who the workers are. Oh, this is my cousin. This is my cousin's friend. This is my uncle. This is my this. They'll give each other a job, bro. They'll give each other work. You hire a Hispanic foreman, I guarantee you'll have a bunch of workers for you because they will stand side by side to each other and help each other out. They'll never trample over one another, ever. I think they're the hardest working people. And again, we do blame Trump for jumping the gun when it came to this whole immigration crisis shit.
Well, I think the first presidency, legitimately, I think everybody has a conspiracy theories. Maybe he did win or it was stolen from him, whatever. I think he lost only because of the whole George Floyd thing. He didn't speak on it. And that was a problem. Mass majority of people of what happened to the guy was messed up. That cop shouldn't have done what he did because he was pleading for help. Yeah, he was going into respiratory distress because he was high on drugs or whatever the case was.
Yeah.
But if you're crying for help, the cop shouldn't have need him for that long, right? And I think Trump not speaking on it really disturbed a lot of people. Yeah, when was the last time we had a legitimate election? In the 1800s when only 50,000 people were voting? There's always going to be corruption. But I think, honestly, he legitimately lost.
I think every president should speak about the actual crimes and the gang violence that are going on daily in America. In major cities from Chicago, St. Louis, Charlotte, all these cities where gang violence is going on and people are dying daily. That's what they should talk about, but they don't. They bat an eye to it. But George Floyd was an excuse to create this, and phenomenal job by the media, by the way, to put this guy on a pedestal and make him into a god. Because that's what they did. They built murals about him. They made him seem like, oh my God, he was this amazing person. No, he wasn't. He was a drug addict. He was a gang member. He held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach as his friends robbed her house. That's the type of person he was. That whole George Floyd thing was an excuse for the media to use him, George Floyd, to topple Trump. I agree with that.
I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they have an official national holiday, George Floyd Day.
Yeah, they'll replace Columbus Day with George Floyd Day. Definitely.
Well, Columbus Day has been
replaced
by Indigenous Day.
Indigenous Day.
See, you know what? It's so fascinating, bro. They call it Indigenous Day, right? Indigenous Peoples Day, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Democrats, please explain something to me. Does California belong to the indigenous people or does it belong to Mexico now? Because apparently a couple months ago it belonged to the indigenous people, the Tongvans, right? But now it belongs to Mexico. So whose land is it? That's what I'm trying to understand at this point now.
You know what's the best way to explain this? Have you guys seen the movie Idiocracy?
No.
You need to go watch it.
What is it about?
So it's a comedy movie. I think it came out in 2000.
You haven't seen Idiocracy?
Dude,
I haven't.
I can't believe you've never seen Idiocracy. It's a comedy movie of a guy. It came out in 2006. It was an army dude that was the stupidest guy in the army. And they used him as an experiment to, they kept him in a pod for 1 year to see how his body reacts and stuff. And so the mission failed. They toppled the building and he woke up 500 years later. And the world was like the complete opposite. Like it was to the point where
basically what it is now.
Yeah. It was
everybody was morons.
Yeah.
Like they didn't believe watering the grass. They think Gatorade electrolytes was the key. And there was a part, if you remember, when they were supporting police brutality. Like,
are you serious?
And that's where we're
I can't
heading
believe you haven't
to.
seen it.
It's funny, but
What is it called? Idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it either.
You need to go
It's
watch
kind
it.
of like the what's that meme page? Bumble something?
Babylon
Bee.
Yeah.
This movie is kind of like a Babylon Bee. The whole movie is basically a Babylon Bee.
Who's the president?
This black guy with the long hair. What's all the things? Snoop's cousin, but then everybody's Snoop's cousin. So the big guy with the muscles.
Terry from America's Got Talent or whatever.
Yeah. He's the president.
Oh my gosh, bro! It's ridiculous what's going on. But again, I mean, like I said, please, Democrats, let us know.
No, it doesn't belong to the indigenous or Mexico. It belongs to
who?
BB.
BB Yahoo.
Can we talk about BB now?
Well, we'll talk about BB. But before we talk about BB, let's hear a word from our sponsors and we'll be back.
Well, put me on the spot like that.
Oh, sorry, Joe. Sorry, Joe.
While we open the present.
Of course. Wrong one. There it is.
Today's show is sponsored by the law offices of Arman Grigorian. If you're injured in a car accident and need proper guidance and representation, reach out to the law offices of Arman Grigorian, 1-818-404-0333. Are insurance companies giving you the runaround? Don't settle for less. Public Assist fights for you, not the insurance companies. To get the maximum payout on your claim, whether it's for fire, water, or property damage, call Public Assist today and tell them the Wise Nut sent you. Get what's rightfully yours. 818-242-0998. 818-242-0998 because you deserve every single dollar. Also, today's show is brought to you by the Glenarden Club. If you're interested in networking, cigars, scotch, and a great environment, reach out to us. We'll connect you to the boys at the Glenarden, and you'll become a member here. Smoke with the Wise Nuts, smoke with a great network, and build your network.
2.
As a person that was born in Iran, yes, I can't stand this regime. Yes, they've caught the only thing that's been persistent and consistent is the following. When the Shah was in Iran, did Israel already exist?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Was Israel causing chaos? Was there war in the Middle East? Let me say this one more time. When Iran was ran by the Shah, what year was the Shah of Iran? What years did he run Iran?
53 through 79, I think.
Okay, 53 is the oil consortium, so 54 is the oil consortium. 41 to 79.
Oh, wow.
Because he started at 21 years old, young man, right? 41 to 79. When did Israel become a nation?
48.
Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. Why is it that between 48 to 79, while the Shah was the king of Iran, running Iran, why is it for 31 years there is no major war in the Middle East? Why is that? So to the people that want to say it's all Israel's fault, how come there wasn't that in Iran for 31 years? I'm curious. Answer that question for me. And why is it from 79, when the mullahs, the Hezbollahs, the IRGC, all these guys, the Khomeinis, all of them took over, why has there been chaos in the Middle East in 79? Whose fault is that? America's been consistent. Yes, I know America wanted the oil from Iran, and yes, I know UK wanted it, and MI6 and CIA and all this stuff. And yes, I also am aware that the Shah didn't trust Israel. The Shah didn't trust what they were doing with media and finance and the ambition and the level and the control and the influence and all that stuff. He knew what was going on there. He wanted to compete with them. He didn't see himself as a victim. He's like, we're going to be doing the same thing. And they're like, wait a minute, this guy's too ambitious and he thinks he can go up against all of us. Let's take this guy out. We need chaos in the Middle East. Oh, shit. Even Israel being involved, let's just say for Iran and the Shah fallen, there is chaos now in the Middle East. On who, though? On who, though? Who did that? So, yeah, for me, the most consistent thing behind the chaos in the Middle East has been Iran. That's just the reality of it.
So that was a clip from PBD's podcast from 2 days ago where he talked about why there's chaos in the Middle East, and it's because of the Khamenei and the supreme leader of Iran basically creating chaos.
I personally have a message for Mr. Patrick David, who's a great friend of the show, and he's been on our podcast. We respect what he does. He's got a big voice nationally, globally, but I think he's wrong on this one. And we've all noticed that ever since he became a minority owner of the New York Yankees, his tune has completely changed towards Israel. Because I was doing some digging. I'm like, okay, let me look at the past 100 years. How many wars has Iran caused? Zero.
I mean, there was the Iraq-Iran war in the 80s.
Yeah, but it was not... it was not really started by Iran per se. It was 1980 to 1988, but it was more of a defensive. Their role was defensive. They weren't the ones that attacked.
Against Saddam, yes.
And of course, the regime, I think most people, even Iranian people, would want to see the regime change. But who put that regime in place?
I think a part he fails to mention is the reason why the revolution happened is because they wanted to put Iran back into the Islam culture.
Who's they?
The Khomeinis and whatever.
No, the United States and UK put Khomeini in power.
Ultimately, the reason why the regime hasn't changed is because it comes down to the religion. During Shah's time, Iran was a very westernized country.
Did they still not have their religions?
It wasn't enforced. Their religion wasn't enforced like how it is now. The Muslim culture, the Quran is very black and white. If you believe in the religion and you believe in Allah, this is what you need to do. And I'm not agreeing with how they are, but that's how they live their life. Again, freedom of protest, I 100% support it, but Hamas is the biggest marketing company I've ever seen. But
who created Hamas?
Obviously, Iran was part of it. Lebanon was part of it.
No, Iran funds it now. Iran funds Hamas and Hezbollah, but it was not created by Iran. It was created again by Israel. Now, let's look back how many wars Israel has started, since he was saying, well, Israel became a state, was formed in 1948 during Shah's time. But if we look at 1956, right, Israel invaded Egypt, Sinai, after secret coordination with UK and France. That's 1956. 1967, Six-Day War with Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. 1982, again, initiated First Lebanon War. 2006, Second Lebanon War. 2008 to 9, Gaza War. 2012, Operation Pillar of Defense, which was again towards Hamas. 2014, Gaza. 2021, again, Gaza. 2023 to 24, Gaza. They're constantly the instigators.
Well, you forgot two other ones. You forgot in 1948, the Arab and Israeli War, which is known as the Nakba. And then in 1956, the Suez Crisis.
Yeah, these guys constantly instigate. And then they play the victim card. They hold the Holocaust, 6 million supposed Jews having been killed as their victim card. And we all just fall to it.
I always question why they never supported the Armenian Genocide.
It's not only them, boss. It's not only them. It's
I know,
it's Israel, and we've spoke about this in the past before, and this is something a lot of people don't know. Israel, Ukraine, Azerbaijan, Turkey, Pakistan, Tunisia, all these countries that I just mentioned have not recognized the Armenian genocide. The saddest one of all of them is Israel, because they went through a genocide as well, where their people were massacred and killed. So the first genocide of the 19th century was against the Armenians. And then there was another genocide that took place literally 30-something years later. And you expect the entire world to recognize yours, but you bat an eye when it comes to the Armenian genocide, which was, again, like I said, the first genocide of the 19th century. 1.5 million Armenians were killed. And that's not only Armenians. Assyrians were killed. Assyrians lost their country. Patrick, Assyrians lost their country. Greeks were killed.
But
Georgians were killed.
Ask yourself this question. Why is it that the Holocaust is called the Holocaust, not genocide?
Holocaust means sacrifice.
Every other genocide is called a genocide, except that one is called the Holocaust.
Because it's a sacrifice.
And that's the thing. That's what's scary about what's going on now is Israel has mentioned Operation False Flag, right? Many times. Netanyahu has mentioned it. What does Operation False Flag mean? Do you know what that means? That means they're willing to sacrifice, which they sacrificed 3,000 and some Americans during 9/11 to go to war. What do you think? What scares me the most with what's going on today is that the Mossad could plan some type of attack on U.S. soil, blame Iranians, just like Netanyahu, which we'll play a clip here shortly, blaming Iran for Trump's attempted assassination. I can't think of anybody but Mossad.
You said that?
Yeah, I can't think of anybody but the Mossad who can shoot at a president's ear. I don't think the Iranians have that type of capability to shoot somebody's ear and not kill him off. They're not as precise as Mossad is. So to me, what scares me is the fact that they could have something going on today. Just like, again, I know we have a lot of clips to show, but, we have clips going over how Mossad was in Iran months ago planning this whole attack, pretty much organizing all the leaders of Iran to be in one place so they can attack it. So imagine if they attack U.S. soil right now. What do you think that's going to do to the American people? And that they blame it on Iran. You don't think Americans are going to say, yeah, let's go to war with Iran?
It's going to be an excuse.
All for what?
That's the worst thing we could do.
I mean, you've been in Iraq, right?
Yes, a couple times.
As part of the Navy, right? You served in the Navy. I mean, as a veteran, and by the way, thank you for your service. How does that make you feel, knowing that we can go to war because it's being instigated again by Mr. Bibi Netanyahu?
War is never a good thing. It's never a fun thing. I did it because I looked at it as a job, right? But you have to understand, any war, you look at history, any war, it has to do with religion. And one war we don't want is with Iran, because at the end of the day, it's there's a term that people falsely use, is the word infidel. All infidel means is non-believers of the Muslim religion. And a term in the Quran, and my wording might be off, but there's a passage that says, if the non-believers ever threaten the exile of their religion, everybody has to come together and defend the Islamic religion. By going into war with Iran, all the Middle East is going to come together to defend the Islamic religion.
Whether you're Shia,
whether you're Sunni, whether it's Dubai, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Pakistan, whatever it is, Saudi, they're all going to come together. It is going to cause a World War III. And that's the last thing that we need. I mean, look what Trump is doing now. Trump is begging for a ceasefire, for a peace deal between both countries.
But Netanyahu is doing the opposite.
Exactly.
He's instigating certain
I understand
things.
that, but look, Trump's demeanor. He's always been a hard ass. Oh, I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna get it this way. Now he's begging for a peace deal because he knows that war is gonna crush the world. It's gonna crush the world's economy.
Off air, we kind of spoke roughly about this whole nuke shit that's been in the works. Again, God forbid any of this happens, because, ladies and gentlemen, understand this. If anything is to happen in Tehran, it's the world's over.
Yeah. People fail to realize our biggest nuclear base outside of the United States is in Turkey.
Yes. It's over. It's literally over. You have no idea what will happen, because Tehran right now is the central hub of Iran. It's the capital of Iran. Majority of tourism and their heart and soul is in that country. God forbid if anything happens there, and people are fleeing. There's videos out there of people fleeing Tehran. If something happens there, I mean, when you talk about Judgment Day, I think Judgment Day may be coming a little bit sooner than we expect.
And sad to say, U.S. being the powerful country for a very long time, the only country that could stop all this is China.
Because of the trade deals.
Yeah, America, their 70% of their GDP comes from America.
And it's scary to say that China is the only one that could stop this war from taking place. We do have a video clip. We have two clips actually of Melkonian speaking to Fox News, and then we have another one where he's somewhat called out as well as far as his tactics to kind of pull America into war. But let's play the Fox one really quickly.
I want to talk about the nuclear threat, and I want to talk about President Trump. You just said Iran tried to assassinate President Trump twice. Do you have intel that the assassination attempts on President Trump were directly from Iran?
Through proxies, yes. Through their intel, yes. They want to kill him. Look, he's enemy number one. He's a decisive leader. He never took the path that others took to try to bargain with him in a way that is weak, giving them basically a pathway to enrich uranium, which means a pathway to the bomb, padding it with billions and billions of dollars. He took up this fake agreement and basically tore it up. He killed Qasem Soleimani. He made it very clear, including now, you cannot have a nuclear weapon, which means you cannot enrich. He's been very forceful. So for them, he's enemy number one.
Yeah.
Look, they also tried to kill me, but I'm his junior partner.
When did
they
you
understand that President Trump is a great threat to Iran's plans to
his junior
weaponize nuclear weapons and use them.
When did you tell
like his
President
daddy,
Trump
I'm
you
sorry,
were
but that's what it looks like.
Look, I've been in constant contact with President Trump. We've known each other for many years. And obviously we informed our American friends and President Trump, our great friend, ahead of time. We did. He knew about it, of course.
Yeah, he was the first person to congratulate Biden.
Strategic surprise by publicly urging you not to attack when he already knew you had decided to do it. So you were closely coordinating with the U.S. throughout this process.
Look, we're fully coordinated, but understand that America, under President Trump, will make the decisions that are best for America. And that's the way it is. He understands that I, as the Prime Minister of Israel, the one and only Jewish state, must make the decisions that are important for the survival of my country, and he will do what is best for America. That is a relationship of mutual respect and mutual confidence.
What a genocidal maniac. I'm sorry, man. I can't stand that guy.
You know, there's actually, what scares me about this guy is also, have you guys heard of the Samson option?
No, what is that?
So the Samson option is a doctrine named after the biblical figure Samson, who brought down the temple, killing himself and his enemies.
Oh, yeah, Samson and Delilah.
Yeah.
Samson, who was basically, his hair was his strength, and he went blind. I know the story of Samson.
But here's what the term refers to. Israel's implied policy of using nuclear weapons as a last resort if the country faced annihilation.
As in, like, fuck it, we're all going down together?
Yeah, we're going to nuke everybody and ourselves and call it end of the world.
Because he's the greatest ally we've ever had.
Like, when you think about these things, it's like the guy's willing to, I mean, if a Holocaust means sacrifice, you don't think he's willing to sacrifice the world if he thinks Israel's going to be annihilated?
Bro, it's so scary to think about shit like this. And you've been in the forefronts. You've seen war. None of us have seen it.
Yeah, it really sucks. War is never good. For a while, I was like, with all the stuff going on in the world, with all the stuff going on in the world, I was like, maybe we need another 9/11 for the country to come back together. Because I don't know if you remember, 9/12 was the most patriotic day.
Well, 9/11 happens, we're going to end up going to war again.
But I'm saying for everybody to come together again.
So are you saying like Israel should do it twice?
No, for a while I was believing that until now. Now it's completely different.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't think there's anything left for this country to come together again.
I mean, he's hinting there that the U.S. makes the last call, but at the same time, he's kind of saying that the U.S. needs to kind of help us. And there's so many hidden messages there where he's like, we're in talks with President Trump. Dude, President Trump apparently was in negotiations with Iran and said, you have 60 days to stop the nuclear program. And on day 61, they attacked the nuclear area or wherever the nukes were basically being built. Dude, here's one thing I need to kind of understand. Either everybody has nukes or nobody has nukes at this point. Because what countries have nukes right now? Russia has nukes. North Korea has nukes. We have nukes. Pakistan has nukes. Turkey has nukes. And
Israel. Even though they haven't admitted to it, we all know they have nukes.
But he's saying that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. Why?
They cannot be trusted, but everybody else can be trusted.
Yeah, Rocket Man, North Korea could be trusted. China could be trusted. But Iran can't be trusted. And throughout all these years, all of a sudden now Iran is the main enemy.
I mean, to be fair,
Russia no longer Russia.
Well, but to be fair, Trump had the same issue with North Korea too. North Korea doesn't necessarily have nuclear where they can launch far distance. They're constantly testing it out, but that was part of his negotiation, right? When he went to meet with the Rocket Man during his first term,
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, so I think he's had the same issue with Iran as he has with North Korea as far as not wanting them to develop. So I don't know if North Korea actually has a developed nuclear program or not, fully developed. Just like Iran. I'm sure it's in development, but I don't think it's fully developed with either of those countries.
Well, there was I'm gonna try to find that statement from Tulsi Gabbard where she had something that was out. Hold on, right here. I found it. So Tulsi Gabbard put out a statement, and it says this: the United States intelligence community continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and the Supreme Leader Khomeini has not authorized a nuclear weapons program, and that it has been suspended, and it was suspended in 2003. And this is signed by Tulsi Gabbard, DNI Tulsi Gabbard, to the House in March of 2025, March 26th of 2025.
That's crazy to think in 2000, what happened in 2003, the invasion of Iraq.
Yeah, weapons of mass destruction.
And who was the one that convinced U.S. that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction?
That was Bush.
No, it was Netanyahu.
Yeah.
He was the one in front of Congress saying they have weapons of mass destruction. We gotta get rid of them.
But Bush, at the end of the day, made the decision to do the invasion for it, and then they retracted their statements.
Well, this is what's going on right now as we speak, because Netanyahu sat in front of Congress and he said that, I guarantee you that if we take out Saddam, there will be peace in the Middle East. Yes or no?
Yes.
And we took out Saddam. He was executed in front of hundreds of people and millions of people on national TV.
He went out like a G, though.
Of course.
He went out like a gangster. Like I don't agree to 99% of the things. The 1% I agree with is how he went out.
He went out, but here's the thing: Baghdad was an amazing city. Baghdad is now in ruins.
Actually, not now. They have hotel stays over there in Baghdad. One of the bases
I'm comparing it to what it was to what it is today.
The funniest thing, one of the bases I stayed at, Camp Buka, it was the largest detention facility in Iraq. The biggest threat detainees, like I mentioned earlier, I was guarding Mohammed al-Baghdadi for like a year over there. Now those compounds and everything, they're converted into resorts.
Are they really?
It's the funniest thing. One of my guys in my unit sent it to me, and you could literally book a stay over there. I'm like,
they give you a tour?
I'm definitely not going back there.
Did you have conversations with Muhammad?
Yeah, I talk to him every single day.
What would you guys talk about?
In intelligence, it was all about what's going on.
How is his English?
Very good. They're very smart people. Very smart people. Yeah. They have their goons like they'll do their dirty work, but the Muhammad al-Baghdadi, I think Chemical Ali, all those guys, very intelligent people. Sad to say, the ISIS was created when I was there without even us realizing it.
Well, yeah, of course. Al-Qaeda eventually became ISIS.
But when you say you guys were discussing intelligence, what was their perspective about? Did you ever ask their perspective as to why we invaded Iraq? And
they don't care. All they know is the U.S. attacked their religion. That was all they're concerned, and they're defending their religion. That was their main prerogative.
And it's so sad that you see what's going on with the narrative as far as the Islamic people. You think Islam, right away you think terrorist. But it's not, bro.
It's not.
The Iranian people are probably the most humble, nicest, most like genuine people in all the world, bro. You sit with an Iranian, bro, they'll feed you like grandma feeds you, bro.
And very diplomatic.
Very diplomatic, very well spoken, the most amazing individuals. But unfortunately, there's a narrative that the media has done a phenomenal job. And who owns the media again? Oh, yeah, that's right. Anyways, the media has done a phenomenal job turning people's minds and frying people's minds, rewiring it, thinking that you think Islam, you think terrorist. Unfortunately.
But if this whole war meant that there would be a revolution in Iran and the regime would change,
I don't think there would be. It's gonna even cause. I honestly think if this war happens, Dubai is even gonna side with Iran and stuff, and that whole westernized.
Well, they have. I think all those Arab states have.
Bro, Dubai, Saudi, Jordan, Egypt, all these countries, Lebanon, everybody, bro.
No,
everybody.
But he's claiming, Netanyahu is claiming that this would be good for the Iranian people, would be regime change. Assuming that's true, would it be worth it?
It might be good if you're not sending missiles to apartment buildings and killing off people. Again, the people might not like the government, but again, now that you're killing off their own people, now who are the citizens going to support? The government. Now the government has to defend them.
Yeah.
He's doing a bad job going about it the wrong way.
It's like what we always say on the show. You've killed tens of thousands of innocent women and children in Palestine. Do you think you're going to create possibly more Hamas members now?
100%.
Or more people that want to retaliate and hold a revenge against you?
I mean, look, what did we see with the Iraq-Afghanistan war?
Exactly.
So here's a quick timeline of what's been going on for the past couple of days. On June 13th of 2025, Israel launches Operation Rising Lion. That's what they called it. 100 airstrikes in Tehran. Multiple people were killed, civilians and military. On June 14th, the next day, Iran responds. They send out 100 missiles and drones to Tel Aviv, Haifa, and military bases. Now, in this ongoing exchange, the death tolls as of right now, as of June 15th, as of June 16th, is 224 Iranians dead and roughly around 24 Israelis dead. But hundreds injured. Again, we don't even know if these numbers are deflated or even inflated. Again, we don't know, but that's basically what's going on. And we have some clips of the shots.
Let me see if we could get another one.
That's the other gun. We don't have the clips where 8 months prior Mossad was had images of the nuclear plants, supposed nuclear plants in Iran? We don't have that.
I saw that, but no, we don't have that.
But those were the missiles that were being launched. And again, I know we can show multiple airstrikes, but that's basically what's been going on for the past 3 to 4 days. Is just airstrikes after air. And apparently, Israel's Iron Dome.
Find another one.
Keep in mind, we're
No, it's okay, Joe. Don't worry about it. But apparently, Israel's Iron Dome is not such an iron dome.
But even that, you don't think they intentionally turned it off?
I don't know, man. Okay, let's do this, bro. I want to play that clip of Netanyahu talking to, getting exposed somewhat. I want every single one of you to listen to this individual, the Prime Minister of Israel, speak and tell me if he's not instigating and not poking the bear being the United States.
Tomorrow it's New York. I understand America first. I don't understand America dead. That's what these people want. They chant death to America. So we're doing something that is in the service of mankind, of humanity, and it's a battle of good against evil. America should and does stand with the good. That's what President Trump is doing, and I deeply appreciate his support.
John Carl joins me now. So, John, what else did he say about President Trump and how he wants the U.S. to play a role here, or did he?
Well, look, he praised President Trump over and over again in this interview. He knows that he needs the United States' support, at least in terms of doing what the U.S. is doing now, which is helping Israel defend itself from those retaliatory attacks from Iran. So it was all couched in a thank you, President Trump. You've been Israel's best friend, but he made it clear that he would like to see more. He didn't come out and directly say it in those ways, but what you heard, what you played right there, I understand America first. I don't understand America dead. He is really speaking to those in the Trump movement, those in the MAGA movement who are adamantly opposed to the United States getting involved in another Middle East conflict.
Not a MAGA movement.
And as you
it's
know,
a common sense movement.
Some prominent voices, supporters, outside advisors of Donald Trump who are saying, don't get involved. The United States can't be involved. You campaigned against forever wars. People like Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk. Those are, close supporters of Donald Trump who are saying that they don't think the United States should be involved in this.
Amen.
And Netanyahu, it seemed to me, by using their language, I understand America first, I don't understand America dead, was speaking directly to Donald Trump and to his supporters who are critical of what Israel is doing.
It's the term, you've heard the term chess, not checkers. He's playing checkers right now.
Who is?
Netanyahu? Yeah,
Melkonian?
He's playing checkers because so many other countries are against him of what he did with Gaza. Now he's playing chess right now. I really hope so. Even if Biden was in the position of Trump right now, for hypothetically, or even Kamala Harris, I hope America plays chess against them, because what he's doing, he's causing World War III. And he knows he lost the support from all the NATO countries because of what he did with Gaza, and he backed up America into a corner, and I hope they respond accordingly.
That's why I think he's desperate, and that's what scares me. If he's desperate, he's going to cause some havoc on U.S. soil. He's going to blame all the Iranians, just like he's blaming the assassination attempts on Iran. And guess what? We're going to be fooled again. The American people are going to be fooled. That's how we've gone into pretty much every war is, look how many American people they killed. We need to go.
He's gonna get us all killed. Bottom line, I'm telling you right now. This guy's making World War III happen in front of our eyes, and we're just thinking that he's going to get away with it again in regard to like what they did with Iraq. No, we got bigger players in the game now. We got Russia, we got China, we got Pakistan threatening that if the U.S. steps in, we'll do a preemptive strike as well. There's a lot at play here. It's not the same Iraq war. It's not the same BS. This is serious stuff, guys.
And not only that, being all four of us being Armenian, Armenia's homeland, our homeland, is at stake there as well, because we're landlocked between Azerbaijan, Turkey, Iran. We're basically in the middle of all this shit that's going on.
One of the biggest Armenian supporters is Iran.
And what happens if they're occupied as they are now? You don't think Azerbaijan is going to attempt an attack thinking, oh, well, Iran's occupied. They're not going to try to protect Armenia.
They're already lined up at the border of Azerbaijan from what we're hearing. They're ready to attack at any given time.
I wonder how many Armenians in Tehran got affected by this. I'm sure all of them.
Oh, bro, well, not Joe's family, but Arman's, my family, your family, they're Iranian-Armenian. So our ancestors are from Iran because of the genocide that took place in 1915. A lot of Armenians were spread out. So we still have some family in Iran. I know a lot of friends who have a larger family, larger group of family, larger community of family in Iran. I texted them right away and I said, bro, if you guys have people in Iran, tell them to get the freaking hell out of Tehran. Because Trump tweeted out something, or Truth out something. He basically said that, well, let me pull it up really quickly, because
it says, ChatGPT says roughly about 75,000 Armenians in Tehran. And close to 150, 200,000 maybe overall Iran.
So this is what Trump tweeted out or truthed out on his Truth Social. Iran should have signed the deal, quote unquote. I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran or Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. I said it over and over again. Everybody or everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. Dude, that's a hell of a statement to put out there. I mean, okay, everybody should evacuate Tehran. What does that mean? What does that mean, bro? I mean, you're telling people, the United States president, the most powerful president in the world, is telling people to evacuate the capital of Iran.
He's saying, I don't want to, but I may have to, basically.
But him?
Or is
he saying that Israel will be doing it?
No, Israel will be doing it. I think Netanyahu is acting like Kim Jong-un with actual power. He's a nutcase. From all the stuff he's doing, he's acting like a nutcase.
But you know what's the saddest part of all of this? We've had Israelis on our show. We've had a Jewish guy on our show. Ben Azulay was on our show. He even says the people living in Israel aren't happy with his regime. And that's what we're going to call it. It's a regime because he's been in power for God knows how long. They're not happy with him. A lot of people are living very poor. People are hungry. The banks are not in the people's favor, apparently, as well. Israel is really struggling financially and economically. But
did you guys find something interesting, though? How their main bases, where they hide all their weapons and their actual bases, or their Pentagon or whatever, it's in the middle of a city. It's almost like they're using human shields.
Well, Iran's is underground. Did you know that?
Well, I'm talking about
Israel's?
Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think they were targeting this inside the city? They were targeting inside the city to hit those bases.
Yes.
So
and they destroyed the airport as well, Tel Aviv.
Right.
Did you see how they drone attacked those F-14 fighter jets, Iran's fighter jets? They took out like 10 of them.
Really?
Yeah, it was posted on
Iran's fighter jets, because the F fighter jets, F-35s, and
no, they still have F-14s.
No, but you're talking, but the ones that they shot down were Israeli jets. The F-35s, which is the first time in history that's been done, actually.
I don't think you're referring to being shot down. You're referring to them hitting the Air Force base of Iran.
No, they went into the base and they bombed the.
Yeah.
Okay. So they were parked.
Yeah. They were parked.
They were parked.
They took out like 10 of them.
Yeah, that's different. Okay.
Yeah, because you're looking at these ballistic missiles that Iran is using, bro. They're insane. I mean, they're literally going up in space, and as they're coming down,
like hypersonic.
It's like hypersonic, dude. It's like it hits so quickly where you're just like, you see the shining light coming in. That's it. It's over. At that point, you're just like, I hope it I hope it's an instant death at that point. I hope I'm not suffering. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just crazy times right now that's going on.
I mean, when you look at the world, the most smartest chemical engineers and stuff like that, they're all Iranian. A majority of them are Iranian. Or Iranians have a lot of presence in the engineering world. And what do you think they're going to create? People underestimate and undermine the power of Iran.
But remember, Tulsi Gabbard put out a statement that she said that since 2003, they do not have any nuclear weapons, and they're not working on any nuclear weapons. It's been stopped. So what's really going on? Nobody really knows. Is this another excuse
No one will ever know.
Yeah, is this another excuse for America to go into, or Israel to go into the Middle East and just screw more shit up? I hope not. Not in Tehran, bro. Not in Tehran, because I get it. There's a Islamic regime there, but the people are the one who are going to suffer.
We can't afford to go into another war. In my personal opinion, the military personnel has weakened over the past 10 years.
We still have the strongest military in the world.
We do,
bro.
but the personnel has dramatically weakened.
Well, Iran, to compare numbers, Iran has about 960,000 personnel versus Israel 635,000. So it's about a little over 300,000.
Well, remember, Iran has
difference.
two militaries as well. They have the Iranian military, and then they have the Islamic military. So there's two militaries. I don't know if the one that you're talking about is both of them combined, or if it's just one of them. But yeah, that's one thing a lot of people don't know, that Iran does have two militaries. Joe, do
we have any comments, questions? And
Yeah, I was about to say,
There's a lot of comments.
Okay, let's do this actually. Let's go to our sponsors one more time, and then we'll go back to comments and questions, if that's okay. Are you leaving LA for Texas? Don't make the mistake of getting underinsured just to save a few bucks. Call Martin Melkonian with State Farm Insurance. He'll make sure your home, auto, and your business is fully protected. No gaps, no surprises. Martin takes his time to understand your needs to build the right policy for you. No shortcuts, just honest advice and real protection. Call him today, 281-712-2788, 281-712-2788. Martin Melkonian, State Farm Insurance.
The Glen Arden Club. If you're interested in networking, cigars, scotch, and a great environment, reach out to us. We'll connect you to the boys at the Glen Arden, and you'll become a member here. Smoke with the wise nuts, smoke with a great network, and build your network.
All right, I saw a bunch of comments. So is there anything specific that we want to kind of go over? Anybody have any questions, comments?
Well, there's a comment where it says F-35 radar cross-section is basically the size of a golf ball. How are they even going to shoot it down? Or there's no way that they could shoot it down.
No,
There's
0.0015 size of a golf ball.
Yes.
Holy shit, bro. That's like...
Yeah, so basically they're saying that it's very difficult to shoot down.
pellet.
But they did shoot it down. There's footage on it. There's little footage on it, and it's not AI.
Who posted that?
Evolved from Earth.
It's Levik.
Levik loved that.
I don't know if he was updated
New
recently on
progressive
what
name
happened.
evolved from Earth.
Yes.
Your next name should be climate control.
Oh, geez. Anything else that we want to kind of pull up?
There's a few. In the meantime, if you want to continue talking, then I'll find some stuff.
I mean, I kind of want to piggyback on a couple of comments while we're live, so people know that, hey, we're still kind of engaging with everybody, and to see that it is live. But
we're not as snobby as you may think.
There was no point originally when we spoke to Martin. We were like, we're going to do pre-recording, but all this shit took place, and we're like, hey, Martin, you're okay with talking about all this? And I think you were probably one of the best people to talk about this because you've served overseas and seen what's happened. And
people don't realize the cost of war. It's, for example, we have the biggest Navy, obviously, in the world. I've been part of Navy ships where we had to refuel, and I was on a small boat with like 350 people, where we had to refuel two times a week. Each refuel was 450,000 gallons of JP5 and 50,000 gallons of jet fuel.
What is JP5?
JP5 is I don't know what type of fuel it is, but it's the thing that keeps the main engine running and stuff like. That's how much fuel is burning off a small boy. I'm not even considering like the aircraft carriers or anything like
Aren't
that.
there big ones nuclear powered?
There are, but then you have the LHDs, the amphibious ships and stuff that are not nuclear powered that hold 3,000 people. God knows how much gallons of fuel that thing. People don't understand the cost of war, and the little things that, like fuel, for example, the food cost that's being put into the ships and the bases and everything like that. It's insane. I'm talking about, if not billions, at least hundreds of millions of dollars operating a week, if I had to guess.
Bro, you just said 3,000 people on an aircraft carrier.
Oh, aircraft carriers have 6,000.
6,000 troops.
Yeah. It's a city.
And we have, 18 Navy bases around the world? Or
You have San Diego, you have Norfolk, you have Bremerton, Washington.
Isn't there one in North Carolina as well?
I think that's a CB base, but you have Mayport, Florida. Then you have Japan, Greece, Italy, Spain. They're all South Korea. Those are just Navy bases. Army bases, they're Army Marine bases. You have Germany. You have we're all over the world.
Wow, it's actually, I'm way off. It says 40 to 57 active Navy bases domestically, and then close to 220 overseas. And then you have 642 U.S. military bases globally. So I think total with all the bases, it's 800 something around the world. Not just Navy, just overall military bases around the world.
Dude, you know what I'm curious about? Look, we have a bunch of people watching on YouTube, a bunch of people watching on Twitter as well. I want you guys to drop a comment. And I want you to honestly give your 411 on this. Are you in support of the United States getting involved in another war in the Middle East? I want you to put religion aside. I want you to put politics aside. I want you to genuinely answer that question, because truly speaking, we can't afford to get into another war. Because if this is the big war that we're talking about, it's scary to say this, but I truly think it'll probably be the last one.
All for what, though? It's like...
It all comes down to religion.
The land that was promised to them 3,000 years ago?
I don't even think that's the case. I don't think it's religion at all. I just think it's a power grab, bottom line.
But power grab to what?
The land.
What land?
Greater Israel.
Okay, they have it.
No, they want a bigger, greater Israel, which Armenia falls in as well.
Oh, that big?
Yes.
All the way down there?
Yes.
No, man.
They will be a superpower on their own. They will no longer need the United States for anything.
So you're talking about them getting rid of an ally such as Azerbaijan and Turkey.
I'm talking about, this is a Talmudic thing, more, again, you're saying religion. I look at it as more satanic. But then again, I'm pretty deep down the rabbit hole.
I think Satan was mentioned in the Bible a couple of times, wasn't he?
Well,
from the serpent.
Oh no, Jesus called them the synagogue of Satan. Not necessarily Jews, but those pretending to be Jews. This is written.
Again, this is a political thing, bro. It's not. That's one thing that a lot of people misunderstand. Is it has nothing to do with religion. This is a political war that's been taking place. It has nothing to do with Islam, or it has nothing to do with Jews or Christians. This is the state of Israel, a country attacking another country, Iran. That's basically what it is. If Iran was Christian, or if Israel was Muslim and they were attacking each other, we would still be having this conversation about what's going on. Because at the end of the day, what's happening is innocent lives are lost because of the hunger for power.
Look at that comment. Satan doesn't even want Netanyahu.
What does it say?
Satan doesn't even want to.
Netanyahu, Nick Avedian. That's a good one.
John Black was asking, didn't Israel bomb a U.S. naval ship?
No. Yeah. Yes, USS Liberty.
That was 1967. USS Liberty.
Interesting.
September 11th got us into the Iraq War.
Jeez. Yeah, it was initially Afghanistan, and then 2003 went into Iraq.
You had to take out Afghanistan and then take out.
Well, you took out Bin Laden, and then you're like, all right, let's go after Saddam.
You didn't take out Bin Laden until 2011.
Oh yeah, Bin Laden was around until during Obama's administration is when we took out Bin Laden. I think Bin Laden was dead prior to that, bro. You really think we took out Bin Laden in 2011?
No one knows, man. There's so much hidden stuff in the military that you don't.
Yeah, we killed Bin Laden, but we didn't find his body.
Did you see
that? They threw his body into the ocean. You don't know. You know that, right?
Bro, they didn't throw shit. Bin Laden
no, but that's what
they
they're claiming.
No, they did. I actually met one of the SEALs that.
No shit.
Yeah.
And they confirmed that they killed him.
Yeah. I met one of the, he was in SEAL Team 6. I met him at a conference, and he said they threw him out off the USS, I forgot, was it the George Bush or something like that? They threw him off the ship because they have to respect their religion as far as when it comes to death.
Bro, that makes zero sense.
No. They didn't throw it because that's what it says in their religion. They threw it so they wouldn't find his body and make a monument out of it and treat him as a martyr or whatnot, supposedly. But I don't even think that was even true.
So where did they just dump him in the Atlantic?
Somewhere in the ocean. Yeah.
Bro, that makes zero sense.
You didn't hear about this? Literally, they did this. This is not. I'm not making this up.
I thought that, bro. There was multiple stories I heard. I heard his body was shot up to unrecognizable.
Armand, look it up. You'll see.
Oh, there's pictures of when they took pictures of him when they took the body.
Yeah, but you can't even see who that is, bro. The guy's face was practically like shot up to. I mean,
Mariana Trench, exactly. So they don't martyr him.
Well, it says official explanation is no country would accept his remains to prevent a gravesite from becoming a shrine. And it says U.S. officials said they try to follow Islamic practice, which calls for burial within 24 hours of death.
Mm-hmm.
So they dump him into the ocean. That's how they bury him?
Ritual said washing and prayer. I don't know.
Have you ever seen a Muslim burial?
No, I haven't.
It's very interesting.
How is it?
So they cannot embalm them. They strip them down naked, wrap them in a white sheet, and then they have to, when they bury them, they have to face them towards Mecca. And they have
Mecca is
like the holy grail of the Muslim world. I forgot what country it's in, but they have to do it within 24 hours, and they can't embalm them. They can't do anything to the body. They have to wrap them in a white sheet and face them towards Mecca. So
and just bury him.
And bury him.
I mean, if Bin Laden was shot and he was transported to a boat and then they dumped him into the ocean, that kind of defeats the purpose of how they were supposed to.
I honestly believe like the CIA was in talks with Al Qaeda and asked them how they want it done.
I mean, if they shot him and killed him, they could have just buried him there. But apparently, as you mentioned, they didn't want a monument built out of his.
Look, and this is the issue with politics. We can sit here, have our opinion. Like they say, an opinion is like an asshole, right? Everybody has one. But none of us know what happens behind the scenes. Who's talking to who?
No one will ever know.
I mean, for all we know, the Khamenei and Trump and Netanyahu and Putin, all these guys could have had a conference call and say, okay, here's what we're going to do. This is how it's going to take place. We're going to blame it on someone. I mean, that's the thing about politics. We see what we see. We see the videos. We assume kind of a opinion about it, and then we try to judge based on whatever their history and what they've done in the past, but ultimately, none of us can claim that we know what's happening, we know what's going to happen. It all happens behind the scenes. What we see is what they want us to see.
Well, I hope you're right about them being butt buddies and having conversations and playing us all for a fool, because I'd rather be played for a fool rather than actual warfare.
I don't want to be played for a fool.
When it comes to our lives and our families' lives, bro, you know what? You guys want to play this reality TV show where you're posting a bunch of shit on Twitter and on the media and on the news. By all means, you do what you got to do to play the game, and as long as the rest of the world is safe and people aren't killed and murdered and bombed and nuked, you could do whatever the fuck you want to do, bro.
I think it's more than politics. I think we're being played by both sides. It's not America first, as they were claiming. We all fell for it. And
we got to hold them accountable.
At the end of the day, let's see what happens, man, with Israel. It's too early to tell, but it's not looking good.
Well, it's
definitely not America first.
We're posting daily, as far as on Twitter and on Instagram. On Instagram, it's on our stories. On Twitter, it's on our feed, videos and updates, as like literally all daily that we're posting updates just to find out what's going on. Sitting down with Martin here, talking about the potential of what may happen if Tehran is bombed, terrifies a lot of us, because we don't know where it'll escalate to.
But it's going to be a domino effect.
But I don't think we need to worry about it, because according to, did you guys hear the story of the former HUD official Catherine Austin Fitz? She claims that between 1998 and 2015, you know how Pentagon always, their audits, they're always missing 800 billion here, 2 trillion here, and then 3 trillion was lost during 9/11 and whatnot. So she claims that the U.S. government has spent $21 trillion between 98 and 2015 building underground cities and bunkers.
No. For
such possible event. I mean,
is that why we're deporting all the illegals out, so the legals could get in underneath?
And she claims to have found evidence of approximately 170 secret underground facilities. I don't know. That's a report from, I think it was, I don't know actually when she claimed that.
You hear shit like that, it terrifies you.
It angers me. It doesn't terrify me.
At the end, I don't know. None of this will ever matter, because we're all going to go into the ground or whatever it is.
Whether it's in a bunker or in a casket, huh?
Yeah. I live my life like it's the last day.
Yeah, we don't live in fear. It's just a matter of, you know what it is? It's like, why can't we all just get along? It's about all these innocent people dying for no reason. Like those kids in Palestine and now Iran and whatever's happening
even
in Africa,
Israel, man.
Israel, what's going on in Armenia, all over the world. I mean, all these innocent lives are being harmed for what? Because of these political goons who think they can control anything, anyway, anyhow they want. You're supposed to work for the people, not against the people.
But that was never the case, though.
Well,
even our history, it was never that was never the case.
Our history as in U.S. history?
Yeah.
Well, U.S. history, I mean, we've been at war for, we're
200 years.
250-year-old country. We've been at war for 220 some years. It's, I guess that's how you become the most powerful nation in the world, is you kill off people and you take over.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on.
One of the greatest experiences I had in the military was we never looked at who was white, black, Hispanic, Asian. When you're in war, we fought next to each other, protected one another. That was the greatest thing I experienced. That was the biggest takeaway I had.
You guys were all brothers.
Yeah, brothers and sisters.
And sisters, correct.
And I do believe the narrative of, I wish we would go into, all the Middle East countries, maybe even Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. When you're 18, you need, in Armenia, when you turn 18, you have to serve in the military.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think this country needs it.
Oof.
I really think we do, because we really saw what struggle is and how we could survive it. We become so, stuff like this has weakened us. Like stuff like DoorDash. Look how much it's made us so lazy that we won't even get up to go to a grocery store.
Yeah.
So the other day, I was a victim to it myself. I was like, man, I'm craving ice cream, and I DoorDash a $5 ice cream, paid the driver $10 to deliver it.
Right. A simple ice cream costs you $15.
Yeah.
But
plus tip.
If and when you do have kids, would you encourage them to go into the military?
It's their choice. One of the greatest things that I saw was someone asked another person, when your kid gets older, do you expect them to take care of you? And the person's like, yeah. And he's like, you're completely wrong. You're the person that brought them into this world. You work for them. When they turn 18 and get older, let them live their lives. Don't raise them for them to give back to you.
I ask you that because you stated that you think it should be mandatory in the U.S., just like, let's say, Armenia, Russia, Iran, and many other countries. So I figured you would probably encourage them to serve at least, let's say, the 2 years minimum.
Living in the way we are right now, yeah, that's my personal belief. But because it's not mandatory, it's their decision if they want to. Me, I joined because, yeah, the love for the country too. I was in trouble with the law, and so I had a choice: go to jail or join the military, right? So I was put in an awkward position, but again, the military is a great thing. It teaches you a lot of respect and stuff like that. It does also teach you a lot of bad things too, that you combat every single day. But it's just times have changed so much that the respect level of these younger generation is out the window.
Would you have learned those bad things too if you hadn't been deployed, or that's only if you're deployed?
No, it doesn't matter deployed or not. You have to understand, a lot of military people, veterans, and anybody that joins, a lot of them come from low-income families and stuff, didn't have stuff in life. And then you join the military, you're guaranteed a paycheck, and you start lashing out. You start spending money like you never had, and you develop into a mindset where you join the military, you think you're bulletproof. Oh, I'm a badass. I'm this, that. I could do whatever that you want. People, they don't realize that there's a lot of consequences in life when you're in the military. But ultimately, you're taught respect. That's where it boils down to.
Discipline and respect.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the discipline, the respect, and being able to abide by certain rules and schedules as well, because you guys have a rigorous schedule as well.
Oh yeah, in boot camp, get woken up at 5 a.m. I was sort of targeted a lot because of hairy Armenian. I had to shave twice a day. I had to carry a razor with me at all times. When 3 o'clock hit, they would make me go shave again.
Are you serious? The 5 o'clock shadow would come in that quickly, huh?
Oh yeah.
And you're not allowed to have it.
What?
Like,
unless you have a no shave shit, unless you have a skin disorder. Yeah, no, you're supposed to be clean.
Not even a mustache or mustache?
No, mustaches, yeah.
It's like the fire department.
I never understood that.
Not in boot camp, but
because I remember years ago, I went to a dealership to apply for a job 20 some years ago. And they had the same policy. They said, you can have a mustache, but you can't have facial hair, like beard or goatee or anything.
Yeah, now it's the opposite, bro. Beards are okay now, apparently. What do we know? Very quickly, before we wrap up the show, we want to talk a little bit about the commission as far as what's going on with the insurance industry in Texas and what you know about the insurance industry that's going on in California as well, because a lot of insurance companies are leaving California, and majority of our listeners are from Cali. What should they be expecting with their insurance premiums and insurance rates in the next upcoming I don't know, call it quarter, call it year, call it half a year?
I can't speak for the State Farm itself. I could give you my opinion on what I'm seeing is, times are changing. Inflation is going up. It's costing, insurance companies a lot of money. Sad to say there's a lot of rules that are, laws are being changed in the Department of Insurances that's costing insurance companies to leave. When it comes to the claims, I'm not a claims adjuster, but people are blaming, they blamed State Farm for the California fires, for example. People are not realizing what's happening across the country. Last year, for example, we had the tornadoes in Texas. We had the hurricanes in South Carolina and Florida. Then we had another hurricane in Texas. Then you had the California fires. So claims adjusters are spread out everywhere. The manpower is very limited, and that's why to me, it seems like claims are taking forever to be dealt with. That's why the public adjuster business is growing rapidly, because they become the middleman person and trying to speed up the process. But I do believe, and honestly, COVID messed the industry up pretty bad.
How so?
Because all the major insurance companies were giving, we're doing this, hey, we'll pay your bill for like a month or something, or giving some sort of credit that cost the insurance carriers a lot of money. But that was one of the reasons. But also the cost of insurance is going up. All these new cars with the electronics and stuff like that, the cost to rebuild homes, the cost of material and stuff, they're all skyrocketing. So that's going to make the insurance carrier raise their premium.
Is the same thing going on in Texas right now as it is in California?
So in Texas, in some parts like Houston, for example, right, a lot of the insurance carriers had to pull out because they were losing money, right? That made like State Farm had to take a hiatus of writing certain homeowners policies because they didn't want to take all the risk. If they projected if Houston got hit with the Category 4 or 5 hurricane, that would put them in a deficit. So whatever other insurance companies does, whatever other states do, yeah, it does affect the rest of the nation.
During those types of county-wide natural disasters or whatnot, FEMA doesn't in any way cover some of the claims or subsidize the insurance companies or any type of federal agency?
If it's not a natural disaster.
I mean, you're talking about hurricanes and
hurricanes. I mean, if it's a flood, that water comes in from rising levels. That's a FEMA issue. That's not a like State Farm or Farmers or Nationwide or whatever it is.
Because you were saying you had tornadoes and hurricanes in Texas, right?
Yeah, tornadoes. So if a tornado hits, that falls under wind and hail, right? If a hurricane hits, if the hurricane hits and it knocks out the roof, yeah, that the main insurance company is going to cover that. But if it's rising water that gets in the house, that's a NFIP FEMA claim.
So the insurance companies won't be involved at that point?
No, but what FEMA does is they have you file a claim with your insurance carrier. You need to get a denial letter and then present it to FEMA.
And then do you recommend going with a private adjuster at that point?
What I could, on my basis, is that's what public adjusters are for. They're not there to deficit the insurance company. They step in as a middleman. I personally, again, my personal opinion, I think they're a better option. No pun intended to PI firms. They're a better option than hiring an attorney.
Public adjusters.
Yeah, that's my personal opinion.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Guys, if you are moving to Texas and you need an insurance agent and somebody that'll write a good policy for you, an actual policy where he'll sit down and go through line by line and explain to you, this is needed, this is needed, this is needed, that's needed, and you don't need this. This is the guy to give a call to. We're going to play his ad at the end of the podcast as well, but in order to reach him, I'm not going to say 818 because not 818. It's 281-712-2788. Martin Melkonian. Martin, thanks so much for taking time out of your Monday to be with us, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
All the way from Texas again.
All the way from Texas.
Well, we got to come out there for some barbecue.
You need to come out and move there.
Touche.
Move to the lone state.
Touche. Guys, today's episode will be up and running on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all major platforms. Mañana. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and God be with all of us. Are you leaving LA for Texas? Don't make the mistake of getting underinsured just to save a few bucks. Call Martin Melkonian with State Farm Insurance. He'll make sure your home, auto, and your business is fully protected. No gaps, no surprises. Martin takes his time to understand your needs to build the right policy for you. No shortcuts, just honest advice and real protection. Call him today, 281-712-2788, 281-712-2788. Martin Melkonian, State Farm Insurance.